Hi there friends, and welcome back to Soul Valley. We're on episode 7, and at the end of the last episode, I realized there was something very eerie and ominous going on underneath this tree, and I'm about to go find out what's down there. I'm a little bit nervous, but here we go. There's some sort of purple lake, some sort of glowing purple lake, and there's something going on in the wall over here. It seems very ominous. Everything's glowing and purple. There's eerie noises coming from this hole in the wall over here. I've heard stories that portals like this can lead to a place called the Nether, where there's dangerous monsters but rare and valuable resources. I wonder if I should check it out. But before I do that, let's go back in time just a bit and find out how all of this got here in the first place. So if everything has gone according to the plan that I have in mind, then I recorded an intro in the future from now where I walk into that tree and there is a purple fog lake down below and an entrance to a nether portal. So hopefully that all works out, but it's a little discombobulating when I am not recording in the same order that the video is going to be showing. So the intro that I show in this is going to be recorded after what I'm doing right now, and it's just a little confusing chronologically. But I want to make sure that I'm actually showing how I build this nether portal that I'm going to put underneath the tree here. And so, if I take a step inside, I built a little redstone, which I made sure that the redstone was buried behind the stone so you can't see, but I'll go into free cam, cheater cam, where we could kind of go inside here. It's very simple. It's just 2 pistons, and then there's a redstone repeater. We've got a redstone torch, and then redstone just connecting up the pressure plates. So not at all anything fancy. Anyway, enough cheater cam. So this is all that I've done so far. In the previous episode, when I did that dramatic reveal, I opened the door and I walked this far and said, oh my gosh, there's a staircase down. And, you know, obviously I'm the one who built this, so I knew that there was going to be a staircase there. I was just going for dramatic effect. But I did not go past this point because as of right now, nothing is built down here yet. And so in this episode, I'm going to dig all this out. I'm going to make a bunch of purple glass and purple concrete to make that cool purple fog effect, and then put the nether portal right around here somewhere. So the next step is I need to dig out a giant pit. And in my last episode, I built that eco house where Bill and Edward live, and they sell Efficiency 5 and Unbreaking 3 books. So that works out great because I'm going to be doing a bunch of digging and mining, and having Efficiency 5 and Unbreaking will make that task so much easier. Hey, you're not supposed to be that. Also, between episodes, I did landscape around the paths, so if we take a zoom out, it's pretty much the same approach that I took to these sections over here, where I just put flowers and leaves and just things that I thought looked cool. That way, as you're walking the path, it just looks a little more scenic as you go by. But that is not supposed to be grass, so I'll have to fix that at some point. Another major update is I am now on Minecraft version 1.21.5. And so that means I will now have access to a lot of the new plant features and things that they added. They added a bunch of cool new decorative stuff, the leaf litter, the firefly bushes, various flowers and things like that. So I'm really excited to go out and explore and look for all of the new plants and new things that they've added in 1.21.5 so that I can decorate my base even more so. But the first thing that I need to do is build this giant pit and build the nether portal so that I can explore the nether, which I am hoping to do in today's episode. All right, I just finished trading with Sylvester. I got Silk Touch, and I've also got Efficiency 5 and Unbreaking. Let me grab 3 diamonds here. Let me craft up a new pickaxe, and then we are going to see if 18 levels is enough to do all of these. We've got Silk Touch. We've got Efficiency. Perfect, we've got it. And since the first one was Silky with a Q and 2 eyes, this one is going to be 2 Silky with a Q and 2 eyes. 2 Silky. There we go. And that leaves me with 1 single level remaining. But that is okay. And now it is time to go dig a very deep pit in the ground underneath my tree. But before I do that, I'm going to get a good night's sleep because I don't want anything sneaking up on me. I've been getting hit with lots of phantoms lately, and I just don't like that. So I want to make sure that I'm getting my sleep. And let's see if I can get a horse clutch here. Nope. I did get it. Beautiful. It made the bone crunch sound as if I hit the ground, but I guess I just was moving quicker than the game was there. So yeah, gonna run up here, gonna dig a deep hole in the ground underneath the tree, and hop into a little time lapse for that while I dig down. And so this is going to become our purple pit. I just need to get a lot of purple and magenta dye now. Oh, and it sounds like there's a storm going on outside right now. Neat. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a underground expedition to get lapis so that I can get blue dye, and then just use a bunch of bone meal to get the magenta dye. I'm gonna do that really quick so that I can continue making this purple pit. Oh, a rainbow. How neat is that? I've been running around collecting lapis, and I've got a pretty decent stack, or more than a stack. I've got, looks like 5 full stacks plus a little bit extra. I forgot how many lapis you get when you have a Fortune 3 pickaxe. I also got some iron, which this is kind of embarrassing, but I didn't realize that iron increased with Fortune. I didn't realize you got more. Oh, there's a slime over there, which... funny, the reason I started recording was to talk about slime, and then a slime appeared right here as well. But let me just go ahead and take you out, and then I will talk about what it was that I came here to talk about. And you. And I'm going to toss down a bunch of torches. And so the reason I started recording in the middle of gathering all my lapis and my iron is because a couple episodes ago, the very first episode where I got diamonds, I saw a slime, I ran over and fought it, and then I tossed down a bunch of torches in the spot where I saw that slime, and that is right here. So in that time lapse, I didn't really acknowledge it in that episode, but I believe this is a slime chunk. I'm not 100% certain, but this is where I saw the slime, this is where I fought the slime, so I am assuming that this is a slime chunk, and if I press F3G, it will show the borders of the chunk that I'm currently in, and so I kind of want to test if this is a slime chunk. Actually, this one seems a little kind of difficult to dig in considering it's got all this hill. Let's go check out this one and see if it might be easier. But what I want to do is dig a pit just to confirm. Oh yeah, this will be much easier. I'm just going to dig a pit maybe like 3 or 4 deep, just so that if slime spawn, they won't be able to escape, and that will help me confirm that this is in fact a slime chunk. I would assume this is the slime chunk since this is where I saw it, and I don't think it had much time to move around before I saw it. So I'm going to dig a pit, and then at some point we can come back later and see if there's any slime in that pit, and we will know that it's a slime chunk. And if it is, then I can create a little slime farm here. So really quick, this isn't going to be anything, you know, fancy or elaborate. I'm just going to build a small little pit so that I could check later if it's a slime chunk or not. Alright, the slime pit is complete, and I swear this bat has a death wish. The whole time that I was digging, it kept flying right in front of my pickaxe, and I got really lucky that I didn't hit it. So I guess we'll let some time pass, come back in a little bit and see if there are any slime in here. And if there are, then that will confirm my suspicions that this is a slime chunk. And if so, then at some point I can come back and make a slime farm here. But now I've got quite a bit of deep slate. I've got plenty of lapis now so that I can make plenty of purple dye. And the only other thing I need is some gravel because I'm going to be making concrete. And I've still got plenty of sand from when I made all those trips to the desert preparing for my Solarpunk hotel. But I don't have a ton of gravel, so I need to get some gravel while I'm down here. The only problem is I am currently completely full with deep slate, so I'm going to run back to the base, gonna drop off some inventory, gonna come back down and get some gravel, see if a slime spawns down there, and then I should have everything I need to start getting the concrete ready. There's another slime. Man, there's just so many slime chunks down here. All right, so it is confirmed. I've been down here just collecting gravel. I've got a pretty decent amount of gravel. Also found some diamonds and iron while I was down here. But some slimes have spawned, so that... Hey, you stop that. So that looks to confirm that this is indeed a... You stop it. This is a slime chunk. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself some slime from these guys. All right, that was a success. 15 slime balls, and we have confirmed that this is a slime chunk. So that's good to know. I will probably come back at some point and make a more legit farm. But for now, at least knowing that there's a slime chunk, that is exciting stuff. Oh, I keep stumbling across glowing sacks from squid that just fall to their death. And so that's nice, a way for me to get glow ink without having to kill them since I'm not intentionally killing friendly creatures. So easy access to glow ink because they pretty much kill themselves. And so now I just need to get a bunch of bone meal, and luckily I've got plenty of bone meal from when I did my cliff project over here, and I tried experimenting with that idea of converting all the stone into moss and then mining the moss and then using an auto bone meal farm to get a bunch of bone meal to get more moss and all that. And that idea was kind of a failed idea, but luckily it left me with plenty of bone meal so that I can get a nice stack of red dye from rose bushes and magenta dye from lilac bushes. And then I can use that red dye with the blue dye to make purple dye and make the magenta dye. So I can get plenty of purple concrete and then purple glass and magenta glass to move on to the next step of my little purple pit that I'm building. All right, I have all of the materials that I need. I've got jack-o'-lanterns for the light at the bottom, and then purple carpet to put over the jack-o'-lanterns. I've got purple concrete powder, and I brought a bucket of water so that I can just change it into purple concrete once it's been placed. And then I've got purple stained glass and magenta stained glass. And again, I'm not 100% certain if this is going to be enough for what I have in mind because I did not build this out with Lightmatica in advance, but we will find out. So the first thing that I need to do is take this out and then put jack-o'-lanterns all along the bottom here. Okay, and now I put purple carpet over each of these. And now I just need to line the entire outside wall. Oh, and now that I think of it, I shouldn't have put this carpet down because I'm going to be pouring lots of water buckets to turn all this concrete powder into concrete, and that water is just going to end up washing away all of the concrete, or all of the carpet anyway. But let's go ahead and put the first row down. All right, and then now I just need to fill all the walls with this purple concrete powder, turn it into purple concrete, and then I'll move on to the next step. All right, things are really coming together here. I've got the purple concrete walls up, and then I also just speckled in some of the tough cobblestone, andesite, and mossy cobblestone, which I realized I was not recording. I thought I was, but not a big deal because all I did was just sprinkle in some stones. But now the next part is I need to add the glass features. And so what I'm going to be doing is a combination of purple stained glass and magenta stained glass. And this is another one of those things where this is not my own unique idea. I did not come up with this. This is just something I've seen other people do, and it makes a really cool effect. And there are a bunch of different approaches that people can take for this, but what I'm going to do is just do purple glass, magenta glass, purple glass, magenta glass up until about the level where the concrete is. And it should create a really cool fog effect. I've also seen people take an approach where they just leave an air gap in between each row of glass, but I did a little bit of experimenting, and I think that having alternating colors works really well. So I'm going to do just a quick little section here just to test it out and then see what it looks like from above. I also added a resource pack that gets rid of the lines between glass because I think it looks a lot better. So in vanilla Minecraft, you can see the border between each layer of glass, or between each block of glass. And so I added this texture pack, and I think that it does make it look a lot smoother, a lot cleaner, and especially for a build like this, where glass is going to be kind of the highlight of the build, I think that it's nice to have this resource pack that gets rid of the borders between glass. Okay, so this is just one area. And I'm going to repeat this all the way around, but as you can see, if I look down, it creates that really cool looking fog effect going all the way down to the lights below. And so yeah, we've got jack-o'-lanterns, a layer of carpet, and then just alternating purple and magenta all the way up to the top. And yeah, I think this is, it's doing what I want it to do, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just finish doing this in the entire area. Alright, the purple pit is finished up. Oh, and would you look at that, the sun is coming out. I was actually kind of hoping that the rain would stick around because soon I'm going to be recording the intro scene for this episode, and I thought it might be kind of cool to have a dramatic thunderstorm effect as I approach the tree, approaching the Nether portal for the first time. Maybe I'll wait around and see if another thunderstorm happens before I record that intro, but also I don't know how long that might take, and I don't want to sit around waiting forever. But if a thunderstorm comes back and I can record the intro in a thunderstorm, that might be kind of cool. So I guess we'll be finding out. And by the time that you're watching this, the intro has already happened, so I guess you'll know if there's a thunderstorm or not. But anyway, let's take a look at what it looks like as I walk in here. So I open the door, and then I step over, and there's this deep purple glowing pit below, and this little spiraling staircase that wraps around. And then I haven't lit it up yet, but I've got the obsidian in place, so I'm going to light this. And then that is going to be the Nether portal right there. I wanted to make it kind of oblong shape, so I've got the staircase here, the slab down there, and I just think that this is turning out exactly how I wanted it. I think it's looking really good. I'm really excited about this. The last thing I want to do is get some pale hanging moss to hang from the top. I believe that I've got some pale hanging moss, and to be honest, I don't know. I haven't really messed with the pale hanging moss too much. I don't know if it is capable of being duplicated with bone meal or not. So I'm going to give that a try and just hope for the best. And what do you know? I don't have it. All I need is just one single pale hanging moss, and then I would be able to, I think, bone meal it. Well, that is a shame. Well, this is kind of embarrassing. I have not found any hanging roots anywhere, so I decided to hop online just because I was like, wait, hanging roots do grow in lush caves, right? I could swear that they grow here somewhere. And I hopped online, and they do grow here. For some reason, I'm not seeing any. But also, I can just bone meal rooted dirt blocks, which I've got plenty of rooted dirt blocks already. So I'm just going to head back to my base where I've got bone meal and rooted dirt and get hanging moss that way. But either way, I'm still happy that I came down here because I got myself my first AXOLOTL. So I'm going to go release him in my pond, get some rooted dirt, bone meal that, and then get some hanging roots that I can hang inside my little nether portal cave that I'm building. I have no idea where this iron golem came from, but I am going to go ahead and release my little AXOLOTL here into my pond. Be free, little man. Alright, and he's off. Off to defend the waters of my pond. And with that, it's time to go hang these hanging roots and then light up this nether portal for the first time. Alright, I've got the hanging roots up, and yeah, I do think this would look a lot better if it was pale hanging moss, but this will work for now, and then once I have pale hanging moss, I'll put that up instead. But I think that everything is ready to go. It is now time to light this bad boy up. This is a big moment for this world. And here we go. There we have it. Our very first nether portal in this world. So let's take a quick look at how it looks when I walk in here for the first time. So I walk up, the door opens, and then once the door closes, it gets a little bit darker, but there's still light shining through from there. I see this eerie purple pit down below as I circle down. Just a very eerie purple pit, and then this little hole in the wall that leads to this mysterious portal. So now that this is complete, I think it's time to record the intro to this episode. And it feels weird, it's all discombobulated and out of order. Normally I record everything chronologically, so now that I've already recorded all this content and I'm just about to record the intro now, it just feels a little weird. But I'm going to do that, and then it will finally be time to explore the Nether for the very first time, which I am so excited about. Alright, I just finished recording my intro, so we are now back on the correct timeline, and no longer discombobulated. The world has all come together, and it is now time to finally go through that portal and see what is on the other side. I've prepared myself. I've got dirt, I've got deep slate bricks, a little bit of cobblestone, some scaffolding. I'm decked out in my diamond armor. I've got my diamond tools, and it is finally time. I like to use deep slate because I know that other blocks are also ghast proof, but I just like deep slate because I just feel extra secure. When I first walk through the portal, I like to make just a very quick and simple little hut out of deep slate, just something to kind of protect my portal from all sides from ghast. And this is an exciting moment. I haven't been playing Minecraft outside of this world since I've started this world, and you know, I've been in this world for probably, I think, around 5 or 6 months now, and therefore have not stepped foot in the Nether in 5 or 6 months, however long I've been in this world. And it's always an exciting time for me. I know that the Nether can be a scary place, but I also really get excited to go to the Nether. It's a big step in the world, and it finally unlocks a lot of cool blocks that I really like. In particular, warped wood. Warped wood is one of my favorite building blocks, and so I'm excited that I'll finally be able to have access to warped wood and quartz, things like that. Actually, now that I think about it, I do not have gold armor. There could be piglins on the other side, so quick little pause break while I run, and I'm pretty sure that in this nether portal right over here, I think that there was some golden armor that I can just nab real quick. Beautiful. Fire protection or blast protection? I'll take the fire protection. Alright, and here we go. And we are in a basalt biome, which is one of my least favorite biomes of all of the biomes. What luck. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and build myself up just a simple little hut here, something to keep me safe. Okay, my portal is now protected, and it is time to venture off into the Nether. And what luck that I spawn in the worst biome of all of the biomes. More than anything, I just want to get all of this lava covered up, because I don't want to accidentally fall into lava And why am I using my good stuff? I should be using dirt for this. There we go. Alright, and this is Editor Bean Burrito jumping in because in the moment I did not do a great job with narrating what was going on. I was a little bit anxious being in the Nether for the first time, and I was constantly looking over my shoulder. Every sound that I heard made me jump and turn around, and therefore my narration in the moment was not very great, so I decided to scrap the audio from the recording and just narrate over everything that happened. But the first thing that I did was try to secure the area immediately around my portal room so that there wasn't any lava or magma blocks. That way, when I enter the Nether, I don't have to worry about immediately burning within taking the first few steps. One of the first things I noticed was a warped forest far off in the distance. The only problem is that there is a lake of lava far below, separating me from that warped forest. And so I got to work building a bridge over this lake of lava. And then once I had a 1-wide bridge, I expanded it to be 3 wide. And then of course I added on some guardrails onto each side just to make sure that I don't get knocked over the edge by a ghast or anything like that. And once I completed the bridge, it was finally time to run over to that warped forest so I could finally get that precious warped wood that I've been waiting for. And here we are. Our very first warped forest. Very cool. Grab myself some of that. Ooh, I love the atmospheric effects in here with the complementary shaders. Okay, so we found ourselves a warped forest. I wonder what else we can find if we look around. It would be cool to find a crimson forest. It would be cool. Oh, well, what do you know? That was easy. Come over here, grab some crimson nylium. So I've now already hit the nether forest, the warped forest, the nether waste, and the basalt delta. So I think all I have left is a soul sand valley, and I see some soul fire down there. So I'm going to make my way that way just because that'd be pretty cool if right off the bat I just already have the achievement for hitting all the nether biomes. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Oh yeah, here we go. Looks like we've got ourselves some soul sand over here. Would you look at that? I haven't even been in the Nether for 30 minutes and I've already got hot tourist destinations. I am pretty excited about that. So I guess now it would be cool if I can locate a nether fortress, which I don't know how long that might take. I feel like finding all the nether biomes was pretty easy. That didn't take long at all, but finding a nether fortress, that's a whole different story. Because it can take a while to track those down. I am going to explore a little bit. I've already found all of the biomes. It's, honestly, this is a pretty good spot for my portal, even though it's in the basalt deltas, which I consider to be one of the worst biomes in the nether. Not because of basalt. I actually really like basalt. It's one of my favorite blocks to build with, but it's just so annoying to try to navigate because there's just random little holes that you might not even notice, and the next thing you know, you're falling like 4 blocks down into lava that's a single wide drop and there's no way to escape. I just feel like they're very dangerous to try to traverse. But it's cool that not far from here we've got the Soul Sand Valley right over there. We've got nether wastes. We've got the warped forest, and then back there, kind of out of sight, but just back that way a little bit. Oh, hello. We've also got a crimson forest. So we've got all the biomes very easily accessible right from where we spawned. But I need to find... Oh, see, that's what I hate about the basalt deltas, is like that can just happen. You just walk along and then next thing you know, there's just this big drop that goes straight down into lava. And I hate that. Don't worry, I do fully intend on making this portal area much nicer. This is, you know, the first 30 minutes of being here. I just wanted to whip up something to keep me safe for the very first exploration. At some point, I will definitely make a hub and, you know, make this a nice, really well planned out nether hub. But for the time being, I just want to be able to come to the nether and not worry about immediately dying the moment I get here. But the next thing I want to do is locate a fortress. and I'm gonna head this way just because that way is more basalt deltas. That way is a soul sand valley, so I move slow through there. So I'm gonna walk around in the nether wastes and maybe go through the crimson forest or the warped forest and just see if I can locate a nether fortress or perhaps a bastion. Just, I don't know, one of the structures that are unique to the nether that are fun to find. And is this a bastion or is this a nether fortress here? I think I have found myself a nether fortress. Look at that. And it looks like it will be very difficult to get to. Oh, wait. Is that? It looks like if I go right through here... Is there a passageway through here? What is this? Oh, is this a bastion? Well, would you look at that? I found myself a bastion and a nether portal side by side. That is pretty neat. Before I step into this here bastion, a little bit of background in, my Minecraft experience. The majority of my Minecraft time has been spent playing on modded Minecraft. I haven't played a lot of vanilla Minecraft in a very, very long time. Many, many, many years since I've played any vanilla Minecraft. I really enjoyed technical mod packs. So my favorite mod pack that I ever played was by Feed the Beast, and it was called... Oh no. Uh-oh. I must have looked at one. Where is he? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Where is he? I didn't mean to look at you, Enderman. I don't know where he went, but I looked at an Enderman. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Okay. He's gone. Anyway, what I was saying, I played a lot of Feed the Beast Continuum, which that mod pack was on Minecraft 1.12. So that gives you somewhat of an idea how long ago that has been. I'm currently playing on 1.21.5, so 1.12 was quite a long time ago. But that just goes to show a lot of the Minecraft that I played was modded and was on older versions of Minecraft. And because of that, I feel like a lot of the things that most people wouldn't consider new anymore, but I consider new, are things that I am not familiar with. So I have never been in a bastion before. I have a rough idea of what goes on them in the bastions from just, watching other YouTubers that, I watch a lot of Minecraft YouTube, so I've seen people go through bastions, but I have never done it myself. It looks hard. So for now, I think I'm going to move on and go check out this fortress, and then I'll come back to the bastion in a little bit when I feel a little bit more prepared. And now, where does this take me? There we go. Oh, and of course, first thing is a wither skeleton. Literally immediately. There's a wither skeleton right there. Okay, he can't hit me from there, right? Alright, my first wither skeleton. Are you kidding me? He dropped a skull on literally the very first wither skeleton that I killed. That is some real good luck. Okay, my first time stepping foot into a fortress. I just got my first wither skeleton skull on the very first wither skeleton that I encountered. Oh. You stay over there. No, no. Oh, looks like we may have a spawner over there just based on the number of blazes that I'm looking at. Make my way. It looks like there's a spawner over there, so I'm going to try to see if I could sneak my way to that one. And I think for now, I just want to try to light this up so that they stop spawning, and then I can come back later. Okay, perfect. Gonna make a quick escape, and then I will come back in the future to get some blaze rods. Alright, I think the one thing that I have discovered on this trip is that I am not yet equipped to take on this fortress or a bastion until I have a bow, So I think I'm going to head back to my base for now, and we'll plan to come back at a later point in time when I have acquired a bow. Okay, I'm back at my base in my inventory room, which is another part of my base that needs an upgrade, but it gets the job done for now. I've restocked on some cobblestone just to have something to kind of move around and build bridges and things like that. I also grabbed a hoe so that I can get rid of the wart blocks. And then another thing I'm going to grab while I'm here is a bunch of chests, which I thought I had chests in here, but do I not? Oh, there they are, right in front of my eyes. Grab a bunch of chests that I can leave in my nether portal room. And then I want to grab some arrows and some bows. And I actually have a decent crossbow that I got off of a pillager that has piercing 2 and unbreaking. So, I mean, not the best bow that's ever existed, but it'll get the job done. I've got plenty of arrows from getting bone meal from my skeleton spawner that I found way back when. And so I'm going to bring a bunch of arrows, going to bring this crossbow. I don't think I'm going to bother with a bow and arrow just yet, but it's time to face my fears. I'm going back to the nether, and I am going to try to kill at least one of each of the, hostile nether mobs. So the ghast, a piglin brute, a blaze, all those things, just to get the some more resources. All right, I have found myself back at this bastion yet again, and this time I think I am going to try to work my way in. I have never raided a bastion before, so this is going to be a first time experience for me, and I am quite intimidated. I'm going to build myself a tiny little tower that is out of the reach of these piglins. And then from my tower, I'm going to try to just pick them off one by one. If I find myself in a predicament, then I guess I'll cross that road when I get to it. Seems like he didn't even care. Okay, he's dead. Is that a 2 for the price of 1? Alright, I'm going to try to bridge my way over to see if I can get some of that precious XP. Alright, I'm kind of afraid to cross this bridge because there could be trouble waiting for me on the other side. But that's what we're here for, right? Spectral arrows. These are some pretty good loot. Some ancient debris, not bad. Can you believe this? This is literally the third chest I checked. I found more ancient debris, plus I've got a netherite upgrade, plus I've got the snout armor trim. This is turning out to be a very productive trip to the Bastion. I am going to go ahead and return back to my nether base just so that I can stash the things I've gotten without the fear of losing them. Alright, I hear a ghast and I am determined to destroy a ghast by returning its own fireball back to it. I want my first ghast kill to be by returning its own fireball back to it. I know I've got the crossbow, but I don't want to take that route. I want to get it with its own... I want to get it with its own fireball. Oh, that didn't work. Come on. I got him! There we go. Got him with his own fireball. Return to sender. Destroy a ghast with a fireball. Very exciting. So this has been a good run. I found some crying obsidian, I found ancient debris, and I got a ghast with its own fireball. And now that I've cleared up some inventory space, I am heading back to the Nether fortress. I have arrived back at the Bastion, and looking this way, I made a nice trail of torches going all the way back to my Nether base so that I don't get lost on the way to or from. And then if we come right back over here, past the Bastion, I've also got easy access to the Nether fortress right down here. And so now I have an easy way to get back and forth from my Nether portal base to the Bastion and the Nether fortress. I've also done something that in the past I've said I never do, and I've brought a shield. I never use a shield because I am really bad at it, but it's about time that I get comfortable with it, especially if I'm going to be facing these blazes, because it does make a big difference. So I'm going to head over and I'm going to try to get my very first blaze rods. There it is, my very first blaze rod. And I don't have inventory space to pick it up. Incredible. Very exciting. Oh my gosh, that magma cube almost took me out. It almost knocked me over the edge. With that, I decided I was all out of food, so I headed back to my base, and I came back with some pretty good loot. I got netherite upgrade, netherite scrap, ancient debris, blaze rods, diamonds, blocks of gold, and all the other good loot that you get from visiting the Nether. So overall, I think this was a pretty successful run. I found a bastion, I found a Nether fortress, and got away with a whole bunch of good stuff that I came here for, so can't complain about that. Alright, I've smelted up some potatoes, and then I've grabbed some gravel, some cobblestone, and some cobblestone slabs, and I think the very last thing I want to do for this episode before I wrap things up is kind of smooth out the area where my portal is in the Nether, make it a little safer. I want to level it out, get rid of the lava, and I'm not yet going to actually build any sort of Nether base or anything just yet, but I at least want to get the area ready so that when I come to the Nether, when I walk through this portal and enter the Nether, I'm in a nice, flat, safe space. And for now, I'm just going to level it out, get rid of all the lava, and cover cover it with slabs to make it spawn proof, and then at some point down the road I will actually go through all of the effort to actually make it a nice actual base that I can come back to. I'm going to start leveling out the terrain and filling all the drop-offs that drop down into lava with gravel to make it safe. And I always feel like these sorts of things make for fun time lapses when you're kind of leveling a large area. So I'm just going to hop into one final time lapse as I level this all out, make this a nice level platform, and cover and fill all the lava. Okay, I have successfully leveled out this little island where my portal is, and I've covered it with slabs to make it spawn proof. It is definitely not scenic, it is not aesthetically pleasing, but my main concern at this point is I just want to have a safe space when I first enter the Nether. I don't want to worry about being swarmed by whatever might be out here. Since it's a basalt delta biome, I don't want to get swarmed by magma cubes the second that I enter the Nether. And it also gives me space if, you know, I spawn and there's a ghast right here, I can easily run to kind of maneuver away from it. But it's definitely going to need some improvement, areas that'll need to be filled in, make it safe around the edges so that I don't fall off. I think over here it's just a sheer drop straight down into the lava lake below. Pretty close. But yeah, so I will at some point make this area nicer, but for now at least I have a safe space that I can come to. But the one thing I do want to do is make at least this little spot right here a little bit nicer. I'm not going to build a full-fledged base or anything just yet. I will at some point, but for right now I just want to at least have something nice to spawn into when I enter the Nether. So I'm gonna make this just a tiny bit bigger than what it currently is and make it look a little bit nicer. And I also want to make sure that whatever I use to build this is going to be safe from ghast explosions. So if a ghast tries shooting at me and it misses me but hits my base instead, I just want to make sure that this base is going to be protected. And so I think I'm going to use primarily basalt because I've got plenty of it now. It will fit in with the surroundings since, you know, this is a basalt delta biome. If I build with basalt, it'll fit right in, and I just want to make sure that it's well protected, I'm well protected, and I just have a safe place when I enter the Nether. So I think I'm gonna finish this and then just whip up something real quick. Again, nothing fancy, just whip something up to have something here. Alright, a short time later, and I now have a very ugly base. And again, I really just want to reiterate that I was not building this to look nice, I just want a safe place to retreat to. This took me all of about 10 minutes to whip this up, so it is by no means anything special. This is just meant to be ghast proof. I made it out of blocks that can withstand the explosion from a ghast, so it's black stone and basalt, and then smooth quartz slabs. I wanted to build it out of materials that could be found in the Nether, and since it's in a basalt delta, I thought that black stone and basalt made sense. All this cobblestone around here, at some point I'll swap this out too for something that looks a little nicer, but for right now, like I mentioned, I don't want to make anything, you know, fancy or elaborate. I just want something safe so that when I enter the Nether, I don't immediately get blasted by a ghast or get swarmed by magma cubes. And if we zoom out, These are all slabs along the top here, blackstone slabs, so it is completely spawn proof so that nothing can spawn on top of this, nothing can spawn around me. So now I have a safe place to retreat to when I visit the Nether. So I think for now at least I'm ready to head back home. I'm excited that I found the Nether. I got a bunch of new resources. I now have access to all of the Nether resources, and I'm just really excited that I can easily access all of the different biomes. So if I want warped wood, I've got easy access. If I want crimson wood, I've got really easy access. If I want soul sand or soul soil, quartz, just all the different biomes, all the different resources that I could ever need, I've got easy access to. But for now, I'm not quite ready to build anything fancy in the Nether just because I am not yet quite as protected as I would like to be. So I'm gonna head on back home for now and start cooking up what's gonna be the next build in the overworld. And I still haven't adjusted. Every time I walk through this portal, I start to walk forward and think like, oh no, am I about to fall in a pit? But no, it's just a bunch of glass. It's not a real pit. Nothing to worry about, guys. Yeah, so let's head back up to the overworld. And it's a bright sunny day. Beautiful. But I think that's going to wrap up today's episode. I'm really excited about all that we accomplished, finally got to go to the Nether, and now we have access to all of the Nether resources, so I can finally start adding some of those blocks into my block palettes, which will allow for some really fun and unique ideas, and I'm just really excited to see what comes next in this world. I really appreciate everyone who watched, and if you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe, but otherwise, I will see you all in the next episode. Thanks again, everybody.